So she has utilized both male and female names, but through all of our investigation to this point, talking with individuals, interviews, documents, Houston Police Department reports, she has been identified this entire time as female, she, her, and so we are identifying her as Genesee Moreno, Hispanic female.
So see, we talked about this yesterday. First off, welcome back to the program. You're super mean, former, not totally retired goth kid here, Dana Loesch. We talked about this yesterday, and this is why so much of the trans rhetoric is such garbage. Because everybody's sitting here trying to figure out, is this perp a dude or a chick? Because it was so confusing. Because someone was saying that the medical examiner said it was a chick, but that she called herself Jeffrey and was taking like T shots and stuff. Why? See, this is why I need a camera on your face. Kane will not do it. You got to help me convince him. Why? Okay, join the show. What's up? Why are you over there making Kane face?
Because everything. So his name was Jeffrey when he was in El Salvador. He comes here and becomes a non-Hispanic white woman, and then everyone's just going to be like, she. No.
But was it? That's what's so confusing about it. Was it a dude or a chick? Like, he came out screaming as a dude?
That's how I understood it yesterday. Now, granted, because I don't care, I didn't look any further. But this was how I dug into it yesterday. Spent enough time on it yesterday to know that this was a guy that then became a woman here.
They said that during the initial press conference, police didn't say that Moreno was transgender. They said that Moreno used male and female names, and she had been identified. Blah blah blah. I mean, but it was a trans. But it was transgender. So he was a guy identifying as a chick. That's what I hate about this.
This is why there was so much time in the investigation dedicated to
stupid.
Just this.
This is so stupid. It's so dumb. I mean, can you imagine if there was a bolo out? Oh my gosh, the public is in danger of being shot and killed by this crazy, illegal immigrant that has a violent record and tons of weapons charges. I don't even know how they illegally obtained, how he, she, it, Frankenweiner, whatever, how they were able to even obtain a firearm in the first place. Nobody knows. So can you imagine the general public being like, well, what do we look out for? Well, it could be a white woman, but it's a guy from El Salvador. You know what I mean? Like, well, I mean, you guys could be murdered by a white woman, but it's actually a guy from El Salvador. So good luck with that. Bolo. And then the general public is like, the hell? What are we looking out for? Who's, I'm like looking at it. I mean, everybody's a suspect at that point. Well, I mean, it could be a white woman, but it could also be an El Salvadorian man. I mean, we don't know. It's very important that we indulge the feelings and political sensitivities of the criminal. It's very important. I mean that, guys, is it better to be dead or polite in terms of political correctness? I mean, that's really the choice that we have here. We don't want to risk it with the political sensitivities of the criminal. Yes, you and your kids could all die, but we don't want to risk it for any other biscuit but political correctness. That's the way we're going to roll. This guy who came out, this press conference that Juan played on the simulcast, he looked like John Candy in National Lampoon's Family Vacation, coming out and telling you the park's closed. Moose out front should have told you. He looked like that guy. Doesn't he? The moose. Sorry, but the discussion about their vagina or wiener is closed. Moose out front should have told you. That's what he said. That's him right now. Yes, we are making fun of this absurdity in the most absurd way possible because they actually spent time on this. And then with his hand gestures, what is this? Like, are you feeding ducks? Like, what is with the hand gestures at the same time? Like, I'm dying right now. This is the problem. I looked on social media. There were people, because I had posted about it, and there were people in my mentions that were so mad about this. And they kept going, it was a man, it was a woman, it was a man, it was a... Meanwhile, everybody's getting murked. Everybody's... I mean, think about it. Again, just go back to that well of hypothetical. You know, if they had said, be on the lookout for either a white woman or a El Salvadorian man. Over. Breaker 19. Yeah, can you run that by me again? Over. Yeah, 10-4 there, Smokey. We got a El Salvadorian man or we got a white woman from Kansas. We don't know. One of the two. Duck and cover. Over. I mean, and can you imagine? Now think about it.
Tuck and cover?
Yes,
Okay.
or whatever. But think about it. Imagine the ATF shows up, like just in this grand scheme of craziness. And the ATF shows up, and they're confused because, you know, this person had like tons of weapons charges, right, previously. Think about it. What are they going to do? I mean, what are they going to shoot? Who are they going to shoot? They don't know. Yeah, ATF here on scene. Directions over. Yeah, ATF just could be a white woman, could be an El Salvadorian man. We don't know. Over. So you're telling us to shoot all the dogs. That's what you're telling us. Shoot all the dogs and maybe shoot some kids. That's what you're saying. Over. ATF here. Over. I mean, sometimes they have enough of a problem identifying the right things and, you know, I mean, I'm just saying. Do you see how crazy this could get? You got everybody showing up and they don't know what the hell to do. Everyone's a suspect. Everybody's a suspect. You are in Texas. Could be an El Salvadorian man or a white woman. Well, hell, that's everybody. Everybody's a suspect. Get down. You're all guilty. All because we had to tickle the jimmies of the political sensitivities of trans rhetoric. Do you see how dumb this is now? And then we got this one guy. Well, she identified as, well, whatever it was, identified as was because they're dead. They got popped. That's how it is. I can't believe that law enforcement spent all that time. They had to stop and address it. And they still don't. I just think that when you are going out to kill people, you don't get the courtesy of having people play make-believe with you about your genitals. You know? Don't you forfeit that?
Yeah, I'd say so.
I mean, I wouldn't even say excuse me if I bumped into you. So what the hell makes you think that I'm going to sit here and pretend with you about your genitals? I don't get it. You are not owed that courtesy if you're going out. Actually, you're not owed it at all. And you're especially not owed it if you're going to go out and start killing people and targeting people at a church with a Palestine sticker slapped on your rifle. Literally put a sticker that said Free Palestine on the rifle. And the media's like, gosh, we just don't even know what the motive is. I don't even know. This is crazy. Just this guy from El Salvador, this white woman, whichever, we just had this rifle and they put a sticker that said Palestine on. I just don't even know what the motive is. Yay, journalisming. It's like Ralph from The Simpsons. And I helped. This is the reality of this whole situation. Oh my gosh. And now you see how crazy it is. It's crazy, right? This is ridiculous. No pun intended. The way that they said a medical examiner said it was a woman who identified as a man. I don't know. But Moreno brought a 7-year-old, and they said that the 7-year-old was a biological son. And people are like, well, they don't know how the 7-year-old got shot. Well, the parent took them to a shooting. What did you expect was going to happen? You don't know how let me tell you, the trans terrorist with the Free Palestine sticker, I don't know what the motive is, went up to a church and they brought their kid to. That's something else too. In Nashville, the killer in Nashville, trans terrorist, had a manifesto. And they're like, we just don't know what the motive is. It's so crazy. just don't understand what the motive is. But the moment the gun control lobby hears of any kind of tragedy, they're like, oh, it's probably a white supremacist gun organization member. It's probably what it is. And then they immediately start assigning motive. But the moment that there is any pretending about genitals thrown in there, oh no, full stop. The moment there's some pro-Hamas butt kissing thrown in, nope, full stop. Wild. That is kind of a bag of oxymorons, isn't it, though? That's like saying, I mean, you're a trans Hamas supporter. You'd be killed in that area that you're advocating for with the sticker on your rifle. Absolutely. I'm just trying to figure out. Can I also say this, too? Because everyone's talking about mental illness. They're like, oh, man, mental illness. This person was mentally ill. You know, sometimes people are just evil buttholes. They are. Not everybody's mentally ill. Some people are just evil jackwagons. Mentally ill people that are dangerous typically are just they're just dangerous to themselves. I think a lot of people need to stop rushing to this well of, oh, it's a mental illness, because that's just as bad as going to the well of, oh, blame the gun. It's just as bad. You're just switching out variables. These are the variables in these instances. Oh, it's the guns. Oh, it's the video games. Oh, it's mental illness. Not everybody who's mentally ill is dangerous. In fact, statistically, they're only dangerous to themselves. And even then, it's a small percentage. Some people are just evil jackwagons, but that's a terrifying thing for the general public to admit to themselves. Because we spend a lot of our time telling ourselves that evil isn't real. It's just a societal construct and it's a choice. Because if we had to acknowledge that evil was real, then we'd have to acknowledge forces greater than ourselves at work here. But people can't do that. So they say, oh, it's just mental illness. If they have to acknowledge that some people are just evil and they're just jerks, then that's a scary thing, right? Someone who chooses to just so flagrantly disregard the value of somebody else's life and they don't care. Sometimes that's the scariest monster of all. And I think that people just don't like to admit that. But they got to stop it because it makes it harder for people, you know, like a mom that has baby blues or somebody else that might be dealing with other issues. It makes it harder for them to come out and get help, get the help that they need. Because you have all these other jackwagons out here saying, oh my gosh, it's mental illness, it's this, it's that. No, some people are just evil.